Yo, are you listening? Are you ready? It's the Black Adam review. It's time. Let's get it. Now I've said a few different times, this movie had the opportunity, or maybe even the responsibility, to be the saving grace for DC. And guess what? You listening? You hear me? You hear me? It was. It was. It just was. This was a legit movie. So let's cut the fanfare. Let's cut the bells and whistles. Let's jump right in. The positives. There's a lot of positives about this movie, man. There's a lot of positives. The beginning scene was good. Bless you. It told the backstory, or what we thought was the backstory, of Black Adam. And it brought the movie in a very entertaining, engaging way. You know, I had the old school past aesthetic. It was good. The only things I didn't like about it were the exposition. Exposition is typically like a lazy way to tell things in film. They could have told it just, you know, with images and with the story itself, but they chose the exposition route. I can't be mad at them. It was good. The beginning scene was good. And I like that they had so many people and so many extras in it. Bless you again. Coming from a film background or an acting background, if you watch my earlier videos, I know, like, I'm very cognizant of the amount of work, the logistics, just the effort it takes to get all those extras in a scene, all doing anything. If you had a bunch of extras eating some sandwiches, that would take a lot of work. They were in the, you know, the past setting, the mob. It was dope. I was like, yo, they put some actual work into this film. I really liked that. Okay, so we're gonna skip forward a little bit in the film to the emergence, the appearance of Teth Adam, AKA Black Adam. Basically, the whole movie was dope. Y'all heard my voice crack, but that emergence scene was legit. It was legit. The beginning kind of let me know that, you know, I was about to watch a worthwhile film, like a good film, just because I could see the amount of work that went into it, and it was really heartfelt. It brought you into the story. But that emergence scene, bro, shout out Dwayne Johnson, shout out The Rock, shout out Black Adam, shout out DC Comics. Never thought I'd say that. When he appeared in that suit, bro, with the old school tattered cape, I was like, yo, this is legit. Mans was just levitating. And then he started shocking mother blankers. Yo, I'm in the theater, actually solo. It was an empty theater, so you know I was happy. And I was just like, does anyone else see this? At the moment they didn't, but I was like, this is legit. Then he started moving with the super speed. Yo, this is high quality, bro. This is high tier. I liked it. It was good. I mean, there's just nothing bad I can say about it. It was solid. It got you in the film. You know, he was moving super fast. You felt the weight of all his punches. That opening scene, just the appearance of Black Adam, was just dope. It was at that moment. It was at that moment where I knew, oh, I'm actually about to watch a legitimate film. And guess what? Wasn't disappointed. Okay. So, and shortly after that, he goes to take on the rest of, like, the forces of the invading people into Kahndaq, and they start playing Painted Black. I think it's Mick Jagger. I saw that in the post-credits, as a matter of fact. But the thing about it is, whenever I hear that song, bam, 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 whenever I hear that, and anyone in, like, my age group will know, you think about Twisted Metal Black from back in the day. That song and the imagery of Twisted Metal, the clown and stuff, it just burned into my mind. So it brought some video game nostalgia back. Yo, I was hyped. So Black Adam's in the air, boom, boom, shocking people. And it was just dope. So we're gonna skip forward in the film a little bit to the appearance of the JSA. People had questions about the JSA, man. They had questions. In the trailers are like, how is Black Adam beating them? Especially Dr. Fate. We're gonna get to that in a second. You know, are they good? Is it gonna be whack? What's the deal? On fleek. On fleek. The JSA was legit. They handled it as best as literally I think they could have. It was great. The costumes were great. The appearance was great. Their lines were great. It was good. It was good. Hawkman was one of the most confusing characters for me, just because his powers were all over the place. So he had the nth metal, which is a comics deep dive, but he had the nth metal suit, and apparently his whole plane was made out of nth metal. Shout out Wakanda Vibranium. Definitely some Wakanda inspiration. But I guess it gave him, like, legitimate super strength, and, like, he could fight toe to toe with Black Adam. In the comics, Hawkman ain't messing with Black Adam, okay? Hawkman is not messing with Black Adam. You need to understand that. He's maybe around Captain America level with wings. You know, pretty strong, stronger than definitely any human. Black Adam, come on now. So that nth metal was lacing him up. It was hooking him up like big time with some real powers. But sometimes he was like fighting Black Adam. Sometimes he was gonna like throwing through buildings. I don't know. Hawkman's powers were kind of all over the place. But other than that particular aspect, he was cool. I like how he had his little estate out in Louisiana. It was a rich black man. Like, how am I not supposed to like that? He went just off on the street somewhere. It was good. And that was a real estate. Like, that was some Bruce Wayne type stuff, which is obviously what they were going for. He was basically like Batman in that particular film. You know, Batman's on a level somewhere out in like, you know, the next galaxy. Batman is way out there. But he had the energy of Batman, you know, the jet, the richness, the kind of like staunch attitude. But Batman is obviously like a super genius, and we don't need to get... Batman will find his way into anything. That's the funny thing about comic people know. Batman will find his way into anything. He's finding his way into this review. At any rate, Hawkman definitely had Batman vibes, not on the level of Batman, but that's what they were obviously trying to invoke, you know, with his whole swag. And some Black Panther too. It was cool. That Carter Hall is a completely different character from the Carter Hall in the comics. And if you watch my reviews, you know, I'm not a fan of errors. Like, if things are just done wrong, I could go on and on about that. She-Hulk, but I don't want to go invoke She-Hulk. When things are done incorrectly, you know, there's issues. But trying something different, I'm never going to hate too hard. You know, it's good. It's something different. You know, that he's a completely different character than he is in the comics. Just origin. Obviously, his powers are way upscaled. He's fighting Black Adam and stuff. It was good. It was good. I can't hate on this version of Carter Hall, and I was happy that they did something different. Okay, so now on to Dr. Fate, the premier member of the JSA. Again, on fleek. The CGI on his costume was legit. Pierce Brosnan's acting, I'm gonna get to that in a little bit, was on fleek. It was legit. The helmet of Fate, the actual helmet of Naboo, you know, Dr. Fate's helmet, bro. One of the best parts of the film. Just the helmet, in and of itself, was one of the best parts of the film. Because they did a different design element. It had the asymmetry. He had no eyes. It was like blank. So it made it even spookier. It was just dope, man. Like, the JSA was good. Dr. Fate was great. He was a nerfed version of himself. You need to understand that. He was a nerfed Dr. Fate. So take that for what you will. Bless you, one more time. Because in any real scuffle, I'm going to let this out right now because a lot of people just don't know this kind of stuff about the comics. Dr. Fate would class Black Adam. Okay? And it wouldn't even really be that close. Obviously, I love Black Adam. Got the lightning bolt shirt on. Ms. Marvel, but you guys, lightning. I'm representing The Rock. I'm representing Black Adam right now. But man, he's not messing with Dr. Fate. He's just too powerful. Those like demons that gave the demon guy his powers at the end of the movie, Dr. Fate's like more messing with those guys, like spirits. You know what I'm saying? But again, it wasn't offensive. It was good. A nerfed version of Dr. Fate, but a great version nonetheless. It was cool. Okay. So, The Rock, you know, as we skip forward a little bit, just the thing with him like smashing through walls instead of walking through any doorway, that was just funny. The Rock is hilarious. That's part of the reason why he's able to do this to these films, is he's just naturally funny. We all remember, you know, WWE Raw, then SmackDown. I mean, I can just think of things The Rock has said to this very day in 2022 and just bust out laughing, like, by myself. Because he's just funny. He's always been funny. But not like average kind of funny. This dude's a comedian. In addition to being yoked up, pretty, like, legit acting skills, and just, like, you know, having just a great, like an energy to get things done. That's how it looks from the outside looking in. Just, you know, saying that. He's also a real comedian, not someone pretending to be a comedian. Just funny. So him, like, busting through the walls, I mean, it was just a great element to the film, a great comedic element. Also, he's super strong. And that was also a shout out actually to Superman. It was either from a movie or from the comics, but he was, you know, being captured. You can't capture Superman, but you know what I'm saying. And he like casually walked through a wall just to do something. And I think the print was like the outline of his body, but he just did it to let them know, his captors know that this is a joke. Like, you can't capture Superman. But I remember that moment. And him busting through those walls was like a shout out to that. So we all know the Rock, Black Adam, Superman thing, so which we're gonna get into in a second. So that was cool. I appreciated that shout out. Another positive thing, which I can throw in right now, I feel like it's relevant. A great thing that this movie did, a great aspect of the whole film, was that it didn't have too many quips and what I call like Gen Z humor, okay? And I've gone over this. Like the Gen Z way, and it started with Adventure Time. That's a whole another story in and of itself. But it's like talking around things, like saying things in like this like pseudo quirky way, like irony and all that stuff. Yo, just say the line. Just say the line. Just say it. Just say what you mean. Say what you wanna say. And all right, yeah. But just say the line. And they did that in this film. There really weren't too many, maybe a couple quips, you know, they can be used sparingly, but they didn't lean on them, and it added a lot to the film. It just made the script feel like it had some sort of meaning, some sort of weight to it. I greatly appreciated that. And they didn't do all that Gen Z humor stuff, like the irony and like saying things in a quirky way. It wasn't none of that. Maybe like two things, maybe, and I might be just throwing that in there, but it was great. So shout out to that. Script writers are still sticking to their guns. They're not going through the times, following trends, so to speak. Shigeru Miyamoto, Nintendo, never follow trends. Never follow trends. Just do your thing. Stick to the basics, stick to the roots, and that will take you very far. Very impressed with that in this film. So, somewhat comedically, but kind of weird. They like, again, Hawkman's kind of a confusing character because of his powers, but they turned him into kind of like the bad guy midway through the film. When they found out where the main female protagonist, her son was, and they were literally just about to go save him, Hawkman thought that was the best time to like settle his score with Black Adam. I was in the theater by myself again, like, what is this? Like, bro, you know where the kid is. That was one of the most bizarre moments of the film. It wasn't like bad, that's why it's not my room for improvements. It was just weird, it was so funny. And they they kind of like turned him into a bad guy for some reason in that particular moment. Not sure why, thought it was funny, definitely thought it was worth mentioning. Okay, so after that point, they know where to go to get the kid. So it's like this little compound. Yo, they started playing Kanye Power. If you know anything about me, you'll know Kanye is my personal favorite celebrity. Did my impressions video, he's in there, had a lot of fun doing that. Man, it must have cost Warner Brothers and $7 Media, you know, shout out The Rock, shout out Danny Martinez, the OG wife. Like $100 million to get clearance for that song, minimum. Shout out just for that. When I heard Power playing, and it wasn't even a remix, it wasn't like, you know, like some weird way of doing it. It was literally the song. I was like, the first thing I thought of was a bank account. I was like, yo, y'all did it big with this, because I know that sample wasn't even a sample, it was the song. Was not cheap to clear, so I appreciate that. That was another good moment. The flashback where they ended up telling the true story of of Black Adam's origin, that was good. It was very heartfelt. But I was in the theater thinking to myself, The Rock ain't never been this skinny in his life. Not even once. At all. They hit him with that Chris Evans CGI where they made him skinny in Captain America, so that was funny. It was entertaining, I guess, in some sort of way to see The Rock skinny, because you ain't never gonna see that. So that was funny. All right, so skipping forward 9 years to the end, when The Rock split Sabak in half, that was one of the dopest moments I've ever seen in any comic book movie to this very day. It was legit. And like, if you watch my videos, you know I don't like gore, I don't really like blood, you know, anything like that. But just that moment, The Rock's expression, like the build up to the film of that moment, just that particular moment was just dope. It was like the music, it was just like a very intense moment, to say the least. But it was also, I don't know, it was just one of the best moments I've personally seen in a comic book film. He's had a lot of strength in that moment. The Rock seemed very amped up. It was dope. So yeah, man, another great part of actually a great film. And at the end, so when, you know, he finally makes it back, they save the day and all that stuff, and they're about to update to modernize his name. And they're like, yo, Teth Adam, it's a little old fashioned. You know, we got a new name. I got an idea. And he almost says it and smiles and smirks. Bro, there were a lot of good moments in the film. That was one of the best moments of the film. Like, they didn't say the name. They didn't jack it up by, you know, actually it wouldn't have been jacking it up. It just, you know, they just didn't do it, which was good. Oh man, I could have walked out of the theater right then. It was such a perfect moment. Looked at the camera, actually didn't look at the camera, kind of smirked, and then, you know, rolled the credits. That was great, man. That was great. Another great part of a film. And yeah, highly impressed. Okay, so before we get into the room for improvements, I'm gonna go over some of the strongest things of the film, but they're so strong that it deserves like special mention. Like I have to bring it out. I'm gonna go first with and kind of group them together. The effects, the kinetics, like the motion and the weight of the motion, and the powers. Stellar. Just legit. Like, just Black Adam using his powers was just so dope. They nailed it. They nailed it. Nail in the coffin, or in the house, because they're going up. They're not going that way, they're going up that way. It was like the one thing, because Superman Man of Steel was ultimately a flawed film. It was pretty good. It was pretty good, but it was flawed for a couple reasons that we don't really need to get into right now. It had two major plot holes. But again, that's not the point of this video. But the one thing that I will never take away from Man of Steel is the effects. And I remember watching it, and I thought back in the day, I was like, yo, this is the first film that took like its effects and its displays of powers and, you know, things of that nature to the next level, to my perception, beyond Iron Man, 2008. Iron Man was like the top dog for a while. But Man of Steel, just like the movement of Superman, so on and so forth, the effects were just legit. This movie surpassed Man of Steel with the speed and the strength and the execution of each motion, but also the movie itself was legit. So like, they learned from the Superman formula, but improved upon it. It's the Black Adam formula, and it was great. One of the best parts of the film was his super speed. It was just like, it was like Flash level in the sense that it gave you that he was actually moving fast. It was so good. Like moving from place to place, when they slowed time down a la Quicksilver and he was like moving things. It might have been a little bit above that because it just felt good. It felt good. The lightning effects, man, yeah. Like, it conveyed the power. Like he could do the bolts, like blow people up, like kind of like a bomb attack. It was just dope. So shout out to the effects, the powers, and the kinetics. The hits, you could feel the weight, the movement. It felt like stuff was actually happening. Like you felt the strength of this character. And that's all done, you know, with the acting, of course, but like with actually making the film, you know, putting the effects together. And it was just dope. And a special mention, the last positive. I could go on, but, you know, obviously there's the major things. But unnecessary mention, the suit. The suit. Just the suit of Black Adam was one of the best parts of the entire film. The suit. The suit. It was just dope. Again, maybe they took some tips from a Marvel playbook and they understood like the power and the energy you can convey just by making that suit super dope, because they got it. Like it was like armor, but it was like very, very intricate, kind of like Moon Knight level, but like past that. Like different effects depending on what he was doing would make the lightning bolt light up in different ways. When he took the dudes up into the sky and like it lighted up kind of like red, but had like this lava look to it. Bro, it was so sick. Like the suit was one of the best parts of the film. It was almost a character. But yeah, nah, that Black Adam suit deserves a special mention. And then like when he first turned into Black Adam in the true story, like it formed over his skin. Like it was like, you know, organic but magical. It was like, it's not made of any cloth. You know, this is like some sort of way out there type of material. So dope. That suit. And then he got the trap showing, but we ain't got to go too much into that. But yeah, man, the suit was, whew, I'm getting turned up out here. Nothing like a good suit. Nailed it. Nailed it. Special shout out to the suit. I had to say that for last because it deserves that much of a mention. Okay, on to room for improvements. Not much. Can you believe I'm saying that? In a feature film? A feature film. There's so many moving parts, who knows what can happen. They got to make adjustments, you know, so on and so forth. Not really any room for improvement. It was great. It was solid, man. The only things, I only have two. I have two. In the middle of the film, there was a reason for it, but they took the hero out of the film. He got depressed and, you know, he's like, oh, I'm not going to say Shazam anymore, and let himself get locked up. But like taking the hero out of the story, it never works. It never works. Either taking the hero out or depowering them is a somewhat common technique, But producers, they're kind of getting away from it now, but it never works. It always does something very odd to the story. By odd, I mean not good. Iron Man 3, let's have an Iron Man film where he's not Iron Man for 90% of it. Something like 90% of it, not only was he not in the suit, he didn't have access to it. There you go. Daredevil season 3, his hearing was messed up and he wasn't Daredevil for most of the season. We don't even need to get into Daredevil season 3 because y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Never works. But, bless you, it was necessary for his comeback. I get it, it was good. When he came back, it was awesome. It was so dope. But, I gotta just bring some stuff into there. So taking the hero out of the film for any length of time, you don't really want to do that. But, there was a reason for it. But we'll say it's a room for improvement. Yes. And another thing, which is, this is an actual room for improvement. I'm sure there was a reason for it as well, but it definitely makes it on the room for improvement list. An unnecessary death. Oh man, that's one thing I never gotten used to it. Probably never will. Unnecessary deaths in film, just like it's just you're in the theater like halfway upset. When Dr. Ken Nelson, when Dr. Fate died, I was just like, why? There was no plot reason. There was no reason. He stood there in front of Sabak and just got slain. And I was like, yo, we all know Dr. Fate, with his powers activated, his powers, super speed, super strength, phasing, invisibility, shields, the list goes on and on and on. This is Dr. Fate. So like he died, and they never really said like why. Like the helmet evaporated, which is for the best. You don't want anybody getting their hands on that thing. Naboo would have to choose them anyway, but I was saying extremely powerful relic. That's a very, 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 very light way of putting it. So yeah, the helmet's gone. He's gone. It's just like, okay. And Black Adam's not even on the team yet. If you know the comics, Black Adam eventually joins the JSA and is one of the standout members of the JSA. But as of the ending of this film, he wasn't on the team. So it's just like, they didn't even put in like a stronger member. Unnecessary death. But again, even though that's what it was, it didn't break the film at all. Great film. I just have to like put in a couple of room for improvements. So those are the ones I got. And that's pretty much it. And again, I can't believe I'm saying this in a feature film. 2 room for improvements? That's hot. That's legit. I like that. So moving on a little bit. Yo, I'm getting hype right here on the roof, bro. The post credits. I gotta make sure I don't miss my mark because I'll jack up the frame. The post credits. This isn't a pretend shout. I'm actually shouting. Oh, yo. Every review I do is a spoiler review, so you need to know that off top. You need to know that right now. So if you haven't figured it out, turn off the video. Turn it off right now. Yo, okay. The post credits only made one quote unquote error. You'll see me leaning down, losing my breath. Because when Amanda Waller came through, she mentioned his name was Black Adam. They went through all that work to like, make it mysterious and like funny and not say it at the end of the film. And it was cool, it was perfect. So when she shows up, 10 seconds into the post credits and calls him Black Adam like by name, I was like, okay, y'all kind of fumbled that a little bit, but it's okay. I'm gonna let it slide. It's in the context of the film. Technically they know who he is now. I get it. But that very slight error, and I wouldn't even call it an error. It was just contrasted against what they just did. It was kind of odd, maybe a little annoying, but definitely not like it didn't do anything bad to the film. But you hear my voice? What they followed up, I'm all close to the camera. What they followed up with next level. When the shadow emerged, I mean, we only knew it could only be 2 people, either Shazam himself, Billy Batson, or I'm gonna say the one and only Kal-El, Superman, aka Henry Cavill, but also Kal-El. Yo. See, I don't know, and I'm gonna get into this in the additional comments. I'm gonna get to this a little later, but DC, they figured something out. They got the thread, they got the stitches out, they started weaving it, they put something together. They sewed a jacket together. they came upon some sort of knowledge. They figured something out. It was dope. It wasn't whack at all. Obviously, I've been screaming for the past like 3 or 4 minutes, so it was legit. It wasn't like forced. They didn't, it wasn't like kind of weird or like, how is he here? The CGI was good. It was legit. When that shadow lifted off and my man Cavill was standing there, Kal-El from Krypton, not from Earth, from Krypton, was standing there like, yo, blah, blah, blah. I seen you out here wrecking shop. Similar to myself, we should be homies. Bro, I'm short of breath. It was great. I don't know who wrote that. I don't know who taught them to write that, because they haven't, been doing that. It was great. One of the better post-credit scenes maybe of all time, because it was so concise. There was nothing extraneous about it. Kal-El just showed up. He was like, yo, it's been a long time since someone has, caused as much blah, blah, blah as me. Man, please. Man. There were numerous moments where I got so hyped I could have walked out of the theater, but that was definitely one. Also, it was basically the end of the film, so it might have been, appropriate. But the point is, I was hype. It was great. It wasn't heavy-handed. It was a Superman cameo, like 10 seconds, said his lines, cut to credits. I don't really want to use the word perfect. That's a rare word. It's something I only reserve for like certain episodes of My Hero Academia, stuff like that. But it was amazing. It was great. Can't go wrong with that. Not just a solid post-credit scene, a great post-credit scene, maybe even an all-time one. It was great. It was great. Okay. So, as y'all know, in every film or series, when it wraps up, I got to give you the best actor. I got to let you know who held it down the most, the hardest. It was The Rock. It was Dwayne Johnson. And it's crazy to say that because, and this has actually happened over time because he did this in Red Notice as well. He's playing more of like a subdued role, not like really over the top, like kind of in your face or really too silly or, it's just more of a chill way of delivering the lines. And he kind of did it once again in this film. But in doing that, managed to, without question, be the best actor in the film. The emotion, the little smirks sometimes, his little hints of comedy. Oh, that was sarcasm. It was just the times where he did have to show emotion while using his powers, like the lightning bomb when he's like, oh, his face. The end where he splits the box. I mean, easily the best actor in the film. And like I've said before, you're like, oh, he's the lead actor. The lead actor doesn't always get the best actor. That's not always how it works out. Famously in Thor, Chris Hemsworth was great, don't get me wrong, but the best actor was, without question, Christian Bale. Wasn't even really that close. Just way out there somewhere. So yeah, but in this particular film, in his film, lead role, lead character, so on and so forth, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, was the best actor. Had all the range, the delivery, the chill emotion, but you still really felt what was going on. The menacing presence, especially when he first came out, when they summoned him. Just great. The comedy. I literally couldn't ask for anything more. It was great. He held it down, best actor. But second best, though, I thought it was close to begin with, but The Rock just took off as far as his performance, was my man Dr. Kent Nelson, Dr. Fate, a.k.a. Pierce Brosnan, a.k.a. OG 90s James Bond. He was good, too. Actually, no, he wasn't good. He was really good. It was, for a second there, I was like, who's going to be better, like him or The Rock? Which is, why? How can I even say that, right? But no, he was good. But The Rock took it hands down. But Pierce Brosnan, he held it down, man. Had the smooth delivery. He had the slightly spaced out nature of Dr. Fate, kind of what's going on, in tune with another dimension. He actually cared. He had the comedy when he was sitting there being like, I'm gonna let y'all handle this. Yeah, man, Pierce Brosnan, definitely great, but best actual actor was The Rock. So, after all of this, after all the heavy breathing, the shouting, the moving around, the diatribe, all the different stuff, what is my actual rating for this film? What does Black Adam get? A 9 out of 10. What? Yeah. I'm not playing. This ain't no game. Yo, that's 9 out of 10s are reserved for Endgame, Infinity War, No Way Home. No, those are actually those are borderline 10 out of 10s. Those are the best Marvel films. Some of the best action type films maybe of all time. But 9 out of 10, that's definitely up there with like, Thor Ragnarok. And yes, Black Adam is comparable in scope to like Thor Ragnarok. It's legit. Just go watch it. There's like nothing bad you can say about the film. That's the thing I'm getting to. There's nothing really bad you can say about it. Had the action, super heavy action, like lightning, the super speed, the suit, legit. The character weight, it was all believable. I gotta give it a 9 out of 10. It deserves it, rightfully so. Yeah, man, it was solid. And it's funny because I learned a long time ago, and it was actually Horrible Bosses 2. Horrible Bosses 2 is what taught me this lesson. I myself, I don't read reviews before I go see a movie. I used to read them because they're fun to read. It's like, oh, this happened, blah, blah, blah. But Horrible Bosses 2, the review I read gave it like, they said it was like one of their worst comedies that they'd ever seen like in their life. I was like, that's kind of crazy, but I still wanted to go see it. So I went and saw the movie. I was like almost tears laughing throughout the whole thing because it upgraded and had like Chris Pine in there, as an upgrade over the first one. He was hilarious. And Jamie Foxx, I mean, do I need to say anything about Jamie Foxx? Of course. He's one of the best parts of the film. And it was funny. So after I saw that and walked out of the theater, I was like, yo, I don't really see myself reading movie reviews anymore before I see the movie. Afterward, because they're just entertaining, for me to read. So I'll decide, at that point. But before, I won't read them. But I was looking up movie showtimes. That's how it happened. That's how it hit me. I was looking at movie showtimes for Black Adam. And like I saw the Metacritic and the Rotten Tomatoes score. Rotten Tomatoes gave it like a 54%. A 54! That's like, why did they make this film? So I remember looking at that. I remember literally looking at that number and laughing and being like, we'll see. Yo, you heard it right here. Mexico City, Trevor David Jones. Don't worry about the reviews. Don't worry about Rotten Tomatoes. Don't worry about Metacritic. Go see this film. It's worth your $8. Well, in America, it's like $12, $16. It's worth $16. It's a great film. So don't worry about all those crazy reviews. I'm literally not sure what they're talking about. I might go read them. Probably won't. But it's great. Like it has every element, that you would want in a film. Definitely an action film. Definitely a superhero film. It's all there. And whatever they're referring to, not clear on that. Don't even want to know. You heard it right here on the Trevor David Jones channel, right here. Go watch this movie. Solid film. Actually, it might actually be a great film. Go watch it. A 9 out of 10. Black Adam, DC. Let's get it. Additional thoughts. I'll put the script up for this. I don't even need this. Additional thoughts. All right. So you see the 3/4 angle of the camera. I had to switch it up. Additional thoughts. Okay. If you watch my videos, you'll know that DC was literally on their last legs with me. There's no question about that. It was a wrap. Going back to Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. That's when it happened. I sat through that movie once, and I remember being highly, I'm gonna just say frustrated. I'm not even gonna get too we don't need to get too charged up right here, too emotional about it. I'm gonna say no, actually, I was angry. I was like, what did I just watch? It's like 2.5 hours. The beginning is super slow. Grandma's peach tea or whatever they called it. Martha. I don't even want to dignify that by putting that on film. We all remember it. I tried to watch it one more time. Batman v Superman. Batman's my favorite comic book character. Batman's my favorite fictional character of all time. Books, any medium. Y'all know that. It's in my channel description. I got to the Martha part once again and just turned the film off. I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work. So I've never seen Aquaman. I haven't seen Shazam, believe that. Take that for what it's worth. Yeah, man, I've seen Wonder Woman 1. Never saw Wonder Woman 2. DC burned all their bridges with me with that film, with Batman v Superman, because it was just like, literally, what is this? So Justice League came along. I've never seen Justice League. Will I see it? I don't know. I haven't seen it. So when the trailer for Black Adam came out, It had The Rock in it. It had the Kanye West sample, Power, not the sample, it was the actual song. The cinematics looked great. The action, it just looked good. And again, if you watch my channel, you'll know The Rock is my favorite actor. So I decided, yo, in the words of, what is it, Biggie, baby, Biggie, give me one more chance. Like, I'm gonna give DC one more chance. You see me with the superhero state, I'm gonna give him one more chance. Just for those reasons. And I did. And I wasn't disappointed. This movie, as I said in the beginning, in the opening, it had the responsibility as well as the opportunity to be the saving grace for DC, and it did it. It actually was. As I've said in the previous X minutes, I don't have, the timer's on the reverse, so I don't know how long I've been going on with this, but it was a great film. The thing about The Rock is he just has that quality. And again, if you watch my previous videos, you'll know I'm not just saying it for this moment. The Rock's my favorite actor. Just is. Say what I don't care what you have to say. The Rock's my favorite actor, funny, you know, action, my favorite actor. He may have revived DC. We don't know yet because there's movies to come, but as far as this actual moment, definitely. We saw it in Fast 5, you know. My personal favorite Fast and Furious movie. F7 is good. Actually, F7's really good. That's a great movie. But Fast 5, it's the best one. You know, that's all there is to it. Yeah, man. He's got that quality and he did it again. So, okay, here's the thing. So DC, they went to some sort of like, you know, compendium, some sort of spot, and they learned how to make movies. They learned what to do. They learned what to put in. They learned what not to put in. So if they can take this knowledge, hopefully they do, if they can take this knowledge and move forward, then the outlook is actually pretty bright for DC. Did I just say that? Did Trevor David Jones just say that? DC has a bright outlook? They do. They do. If they take what they did in this film and put The Rock in some more movies, just kidding. They don't even have to do that. I'm excited to see him in more films, of course, obviously. But just the lessons, from whom or wherever they learned to make movies, just take the knowledge they came upon and apply it going forward, and they've actually got something on their hands. Like, I can't even cap. Y'all know if something's jacked up, I'm gonna tell you what it is, but I will always, always, always give credit where it's due. Because we ain't out here hating, you know, throwing casting aspersions, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna give credit where it's due, and they deserve it here. It was great. It was just that great. So I don't know if they like did little ghostwriting sessions with Joss Whedon, with the Russo brothers. I don't know. And I'm not just mentioning Marvel. Maybe someone else knows something. But they learned how to someone taught them how to make a movie. And this was great. DC has a bright outlook if they take what they've done and keep moving forward. Put The Rock in some more movies. Just kidding. They're going to do that anyway. Yeah, man. Highly impressed. And I mean, from what I can say right here, standing on this roof right now in Mexico City, The Rock's done it again, you know? Revitalize another franchise. Yo, it's one thing to revitalize Fast and the Furious, you know, some car movies, which are great movies, by the way. Watch them. They're really good movies. And, you know, kind of a film franchise, reviving DC. You know how long DC's been around? They're like 100 years, a century. This man out there reviving like long-running like American media franchises. Not even a franchise, it's like an entity. It's DC, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash. Come on now. Y'all know what it is. So, yeah, man, he just has that quality. Did it again. I can't believe I'm saying this here on October 21st, 2022 at the time of recording this, but DC actually has a bright outlook. Go figure. That's crazy. Okay, so that's it. After the additional thoughts, that's all I got for y'all. That's pretty much it, man. That's a wrap. So, if you can't tell from the previous X minutes of me going over this, go see Black Adam. Highly worth your time. Highly worth your cash. Great film. The Rock goes ham in it. They put the work into the CGI, into the effects. It's awesome. Highly recommended. I gave it a 9 out of 10. A DC film, of all things. Black Adam. Black Adam's a great character. But yeah, a solid 9 out of 10. Well deserved. All right. So in a couple days here, actually, tomorrow, Is it tomorrow? Yes, it is tomorrow. My Hero Academia. As I always say, I ain't got to say nothing about My Hero Academia. It's just, I'm just going to let you know how dope the episode was. It's always dope. It's My Hero Academia. You know what I'm saying? You got Midoriya. You got All Might flexing. Well, not currently, but it's the spirit of All Might is always present. So I'm going to let y'all know what's up on that. Bro, 3 weeks? 3 weeks now? Yeah, like a little bit less. Black Panther. Yo, the thing about it is, you know, in a general sense, I don't really believe in like competition. In my mind, people are Marvel, DC competing. There's not, a famous quote goes, there's always room for more stars in the galaxy. There's always room for more stars in the galaxy. You know, everyone can do their own thing. So it's not a matter of like Marvel trying to beat DC or this or that. They can both be, you know, great franchises. But Black Panther coming out, Black Adam was a great film, but this is Black Panther, you know what I'm saying? Black Adam was great, but this is Black Panther. I've said it, you know, this is Marvel's, it's their redemption film. And that's kind of heavy-handed because the only thing they really jacked up on was She-Hulk, which at some point I'm gonna stop mentioning because it's just, I don't need to put that on film. It was She-Hulk. We all saw it. We all maybe wish we hadn't seen it. We also wish they hadn't made it. All of the above. But it's over now. I've seen it. It's in there forever. But yeah, Thor was controversial, but I thought Thor was cool. So saying it's a redemption film is a bit much, but it's their chance to like kind of get back to their old form, and I think they will. I've seen the trailer multiple times now. It's got a variant of Iron Man in there, Riri Williams, Ironheart. I mean, I don't see this film going awry. And not only do I not see it going awry, I see it being like a great film. And it's good that it came out, you know, kind of near Black Adam. They're not competing, but it's like you want them all to be good. So, and I'm fairly certain Black Panther's going to be good. I'll have the review for y'all in about 2.5 weeks. I believe that's when it comes out. So be ready for that. So we got My Hero tomorrow, within the next couple of days. I got you on that. Black Panther, you already know what it is. Don't sleep. Yeah. And the thing about it is that pretty much brings the year out to like a close. It's almost November, and Marvel doesn't have anything slated for the rest of the year. Obviously, DC doesn't either. The next big thing is in the spring, in February, which is actually late winter. Freaking Secret Invasion with Nick Fury. You know what I'm saying? I got you on that though. But February, that's a little bit, usually I say things will be here before you know it, even if they're long way away. February, that's a little far off. That's a little in the future. We're gonna pump the brakes on that. But aside from that, I got y'all. I got you. Black Adam, bless you. The Rock held it down. They did it big. DC, of all companies. Nah, that's too harsh. That's too harsh. DC of all companies, they held it down. Warner Brothers held it down. I don't know what eldritch spring or well they went into to refine or acquire the knowledge on how to make a movie, but they did, and they used it. Great film. Black Adam. Shout out The Rock. Shout out Black Adam. Shout out DC. I guess shout out Warner Brothers. And shout out Batman, because Batman's gonna make his way into anything. All right, I said I wasn't gonna do that, but yeah, you know, shout out Batman. Okay, that's it, man. Y'all know what I do. We're out here in Mexico City. Mexico City doing it big. Got the skyline behind me. You know, here in the evening time, doing it big. And that's it. Okay? That's all I got for y'all. As I always say, because I genuinely mean it, stay up. You want me this direction? You want me this direction? You want me this direction? Always, always. And that's it. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one fairly soon, actually. And until we meet again, peace.